Derrek. Southern Utah is home to 5 national parks, more than any other state. The vast, remote, rocky landscape offers visitors some spectacular scenery and outdoor adventure terrain. Our next speaker, being from Utah originally, will tell us of one of his dramatic adventures in the wilds of southern Utah. Please welcome Derrek Long in his speech, Black Hole of White Canyon. Derrek Long.
With tonight's theme of frost on the pumpkins, you'd think Lloyd was referring to the pumpkins out in the field, but we've been hoodwinked. It's the temperature of this room. Maybe I can raise the temperature with my speech tonight. If I'm doing a good job, Luke will be taking off his jacket. Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, yes. Have you ever been on a hike or a picnic, maybe a camping trip? You packed something in your bag, knowing in the back of your mind, there's no way I'm ever going to need this. Why am I packing it? Maybe it's a pocket knife, maybe a flashlight, maybe a box of matches, maybe an extra peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Well, for me, that item was a headlamp, a flashlight that you can wear on your head. May 10th, 2010, there were 6 of us venturing out to explore the black hole of White Canyon. It was a slot canyon in southern Utah. There were 6 of us. Myself, my brother, my best friend Michael from high school, my 2 sisters, and my mother, my 54-year-old mother. And no, she wasn't hoodwinked into going on this hike. She was totally aware of what we were going out to do. But before I go any further, let me explain to you what a slot canyon is. If you don't know what a slot canyon is, I'd recommend going on the internet and looking up. They're beautiful. So southern Utah, being a desert state, much like around here, the ground doesn't absorb the water when it rains. There's a lot of rock, a lot of sandstone bedrock. So when it rains, the water has nowhere to go. And it pools up and makes channels and flows over the sandstone. And over time, decades, hundreds of years, some say millions of years, that water will flow and carve channels into the sandstone. You get channels 100 feet tall, and they're narrow, like some just shoulder width apart. Some you could drive a car or bus through, and they can go for miles, these little slot canyons. Very fun to go and explore and traverse down these slot canyons. Slot canyons, they're made by water. Water still flows in there, so there's stagnant water, there's a lot of driftwood. It's quite an adventure. You have to be prepared. Back to the story. So the 6 of us, I packed everything into the dry sack. We venture out. We start mid-morning. We're making good time. We're wading through knee-deep water. We come to some sand. We're having a really good time. The beauty, this the red sandstone rock. We like getting into the water because it's a warm, sunny day. But you're probably wondering, why is it called the Black Hole of White Canyon? Well, it's White Canyon because it's the White Canyon River. But it's a black hole because there's a point in the canyon where no sunlight hits. The canyon's so steep that no matter what time of year it is, the sun will penetrate the steep canyon walls. We come to what we determined was the black hole. It's about an 8-foot drop into some stagnant water. Not knowing how deep it was, we didn't want to jump directly in. Michael and I, being athletic soccer players, were able to brace ourselves onto the rock and kind of shimmy ourselves down and drop into the water, keeping our heads above and not getting all into the nasty water. We call back to my sisters, give them instructions how to put their hands and get down into the water. Then my mother, again, 54 years old, she does a pretty good job. Like, Mom, put your hand here, put your right hand here, make sure you have a good foothold. Before we know it, she slips, plop, disappears. But a moment later, she falls back. We erupt in laughter. We were having a great time. My mother starts swimming through that musty water, pushing away driftwood, and I won't tell you about the dead rat that I saw. We venture into the next obstacle, a path that diverged. You could go high and stay dry, or you could swim this narrow channel of water. But going high, you had to do some hand-holding and foothold. Michael and I, again, being athletic, we were already plenty wet and cool. We took the high road. My mother, we told her the options. She said, "Derek, I swim better than I climb over a rock." And without another word, she jumped into that water and swam to the other side. We got through the toughest part of the canyon. We were having a fun time, but that fun soon turned to trepidation. Trepidation because it wasn't mid-morning anymore. It was late afternoon, and darkness was closing in on us. We still had a ways to go. I reach into my dry sack, and the instructions say, this is back in 2010, so GPS wasn't a big deal. I was reading off instructions from the internet that says to exit the canyon, find the rock about the size of a bus, take 20 steps to your left, find the pine tree, turn right, find the next cliff and scale that. Basically instructions like that. Hard enough during the day, but even harder in darkness. I reach into the pack, I pull out that headlamp that I didn't think I would need on that trip. Thankful I had it. So we scale, luckily we find the end to where we can scale out of the slot canyon by the time it got really dark. But then I was following those instructions, wearing my little headlamp, and luckily people that had gone before us stacked up cairns. And cairns, for those of you who don't know, are hikers, they're rocks that are stacked sequentially. No other way that could happen except by human beings. So you know that that's marking the trail. So I'd have my little headlamp on, I'd find the stack of rocks here, I'd move, find the next stack of rocks, I'd go back, find the groove, again, only one headlamp, we'd hold hands, I'd lead the groove, find this stack of rocks, make them wait there, then I'd find the other stack of rocks, I'd go back. We did that for nearly 3 hours until we got to the canyon rim. We got back to the 2-lane highway that led back to our campsite about midnight. We were thankful that we didn't have to spend the night in the slot canyon. Our friendships were closer, the stars a little brighter. Friends, that is why I always carry a headlamp on my hikes.